Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa syukurillah wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Shalli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Good morning everyone. Thank you very much for the committee of Profunedu for giving me an opportunity to present my research finding with the title is Promoting Digital Citizenship Among Student Teacher, Project-Based Learning Rules in Improving Appropriate Online Behaviors. My name is Wibo Heru Prasetyo and this is my presentation. Part 1, Introduction. Okay, recently we know that the internet usage in Indonesia is significantly growth that was dominated by youth. I have a data from Asosiasi Penyelenggara Layanan Internet Indonesia. Currently, Indonesia has more than 196.7 million internet users, or 73.7% of all of the internet users in Indonesia is youth. We know that technology is always a two-edged sword, giving us a benefit and also a pitfall. For example, in educational setting, we switch all from face-to-face go to online learning and blended learning. Now we know that our students can join in an online course to get the materials, to present their tasks, or to an exam without leaving their house. But also, all of the students, teachers, and maybe a school principal struggle with some threat of technology in educational settings, such as cybercrime, the massive distribution of pornography, plagiarism, and also cyberbullying. Our children, all of the students, both in and out of schools, did not get sufficient explanations and training to compare and evaluate information before they access or share with others. We know all of this student in school get the material about the ICT, Internet and Communication and Technology, but it's prohibited with or restrict with the material about the office. But also, they are not aware. They are not provided by the school, by the teacher, to know what is the threat, what is the risk of the internet technology. They can join with the communication to get the harm from others. So, most teachers now struggle to ensure that their students have skills and attitude to use technology in an appropriate way. In general, when students involved or join with the cyber schooling and accessing pornographic website, school principal and also almost the teachers prefer to restrict the student internet access and the use of their mobile phone, and also giving the student a sanction to solve digital threat without protecting the student right. Accordingly, so we can say that most teacher is not trained, is not be provided by the school institution or educational institution how to overcome the misuse and abuse of technology use among their students. So the problem statement in my paper is the lack of policy and curriculum to equip digital citizenship competencies for student teachers. The lack of digital citizenship training for student teachers within teacher development program in Indonesia and student teacher graduates were not adequately prepared for teaching practice related to promote digital citizenship. Indonesia now have more than 300 of LPTK or teacher institutions, but when we look for the curriculum, we don't know the clear explanation about how research this teacher, how the student teacher be provide or have a material about digital citizenship, because digital citizenship now is a very crucial. It's very crucial because we not only use technology, but also we face some threat, some risk of technology using technology. Research objective in my paper is first to analyze student teachers comprehension based on their digital citizenship experience, and to evaluate the use of project-based learning to improve digital citizenship among student teachers. Conceptual framework. In my paper, I explain about what is the digital citizenship. I state that digital citizenship is a context concept, multidisciplinary and multidimensional, that combine all of the material, of all the perspective due to the effect of emerging technology on the human being. Digital citizenship based on the rules is a norm of appropriate, responsible behavior with regard to technology use. And from the UNESCO in 2015, UNESCO mentioned that digital citizenship competence is a set of competencies to use technologies in an ethical, safe, and responsible way without restricting users from fully participating in and contributing to the knowledge society. Okay, when I look for some reference about the digital citizenship, I found that digital citizenship comes from the different landscape. For example, from political engagement, from protection from digital harm, critical thinking and ethics, media and information literacy, and moral problem. In my study, I use the 9 elements of digital citizenship uh, developed by Mike Rebels. The digital citizenship element from Mike Rebel was well known as the established framework to discover the digital citizenship perspective among students, among teachers, and also schools principal. The 9 elements of digital citizenship from Rebel separate to 3 components, which is respect, educate, and protect. Respect consists of digital access, digital etiquette, digital law. Educate consists of digital commerce, digital communication, and digital literacy. And the last, protect, consists of digital rights and responsibilities, digital health and wellness, and digital security, self-protection. From the framework, I guide my research to use the operational framework. This is my operational framework. I find all of the elements in digital citizenship from mid-rebels uh, to the core elements consists of digital etiquette, literacy, access, right, and responsibilities, and the rule-specific elements, digital communication, digital law, digital commerce, digital security, and digital health and welfare. Why I separate all of the 9 elements of digital citizenship to uh, to elements? Because in project-based learning, all of the students will be joined in the project with real-world issues. So I see that the uh, crucial issues in digital citizenship is communication, law, commerce, security, and health and welfare. And I see that core element, digital etiquette, literacy, access, and right and disabilities as an initial competencies. It's the basic competencies to develop uh, digital citizenship in general. And I use all of the principles in project-based learnings, centrality, driven question, constructive investigations, autonomy, and realism. After the student teachers involved in project-based learning with digital citizenship real-world issues, I hope all of this student teacher or pre-service teacher will become to ethics, safe, and responsible users in technology, not only for their personal life, but also to promote digital citizenship for their future classroom. Part 2, literature review. Co-reference show the impact of project-based learning on digital citizenship competence. I look for several prior research about the project-based learning and digital competence or digital citizenship competence. And I know from PhD and LTKD under the Miguel Revilla et al., I found that project-based learning or collaborative learning with the digital issues can develop teacher abilities, including the pre-service teachers, and might be used as a bridge for interdisciplinary discipline to develop curriculum materials. From Silent and Mahmoud, with the qualitative action research, uh, they found that meaningful learning through PBL provide a collaborative action that improve their digital pedagogy both direct and indirectly. From some of the reference, we can conclude, we can justify that the PBL is essential to improve the digital citizenship. Within this study, I would like to examine, to explore, to investigate how the project-based learning have an impact and effect to the digital competences, digital citizenship competence among student teachers in Indonesia. Okay. Part three, methods. I use qualitative paradigm with case studies. Why I use the qualitative paradigm? Because I want to describe the phenomenon of a digital citizenship among pre-service teachers in natural setting. So I can gathering all of the data around information point of view. In my study, I use the several data collection technique like online survey with Google Form, in-depth interview, focus group discussion, and also observations. Okay. Uh, to ensure the trustworthiness of my data, I use the triangulation and member checking. And from the data analysis, all of the data I transcript verbatim, and especially from focus group discussion and interview, and I use the thematic analysis with coding, categorizing, and building them. Okay, this is my framework, the operational framework. And then in my study, I use the NVIVO qualitative software first version 12. The figure can describe about where I triangulate all of the data. For example, I found that the bank waste users thems and develop responsible user them or categories comes from the focus group discussion and semi-structural interview. Okay, and this is the examples for the axial coding or open coding. And then this is how I develop the categories and then from the data that I collect from various techniques. Okay. I developed the theory with the open coding, axial coding, and selective codes. This is the technique in qualitative analysis with the thematic analysis. Okay. Next, finding and discussion. Mapping the pre-service teacher understanding of digital citizenship and according with a river rules. From the analysis, I found that the cooperation of digital citizenship among student teachers in Indonesia, they see that digital citizenship is about literalize, protect, and respect as a main principle of digital citizenship. Digital citizenship as a standard of behavior or rule of conduct in network society. Responsible digital citizen is accepting public morality in digital realm. From their perspective, the student teacher perception about the digital citizenship, we can now that digital citizenship is not about the principle in online and birth, but also all of the ethic, values, knowledge, and so on comes from the offline environment, comes from the online environment. So we can say that the digital citizenship is not a value concept. It's not a value free concept. It's not a value free concept. Why? Because I mentioned again, ethic, norm, and culture in digital world comes from the offline community. For example, in Indonesia context, we can have debate about the censorship of a film from Western cultures. Some people might have welcomed the film release, but it was prohibited in some countries due to the protest from religious committees. So we can say that the ethic value norm regulation in online community in online words comes from the offline communities. And then we can say that the additional comprehension of digital citizenship. My study guided from the nine element of from Rebel, but also I had an additional comprehending of digital citizenship. First is about the good netizenships. The student teachers see that we need a good netizenship, means the digital citizenship with moral oriented, not only the internet user who knows about uh, what is the benefit, what is the risk, what is the harm, and so on, but also they must have the moral oriented when using technology. And then the digital citizenship as ethical guideline, all of the internet users in Indonesia should take their responsibilities to make the online society more well, more good and more better. And then I use the additional framework from Westheimer and Kahno to investigate what is the kind of good citizenship or good digital citizenship among the student teachers in Indonesia. So I can conclude that the main characteristic of digital citizen in Indonesia is close to the personally responsible citizens. With the characteristic is they are able to carry out a critical analytical mindset to ensure the reliability of the information they option they get and share awareness of the risk of technology use, and they have a willingness to educate students to use technology appropriately, protecting from potential issues, and teaching such values needs to effectively ensure their contribution to the society. Next, identifying good digital citizenship. When I explored throughout the observation and throughout the interview and observation, I see that digital citizenship in practice in daily life among pre-service teachers or student teachers, they use the digital citizenship principle, especially digital communication, to connect it by maintaining politeness and privacy. When they text the lecturer, when they text the peers or their friend, they maintain politeness and privacy. In digital law, they use the digital citizenship principle as the respect for copyrighted and academic ethics. In digital commerce, they want to bring smart customer in digital trade. When they want to buy something in online e-commerce, they want to bring a smart customer, how to buy something, how to purchase, and so on. In digital health and wellness issues, they want to be able, as a personal concern, to deal with the addiction and physical exhaustion due to the using technology. And last, in digital security, they want to share sense of responsibilities to safeguard society. To sum up, we can conclude that the main principle of digital citizenship in pre-service or student teachers mindset consists of the safe, legal, and responsible. In safe principle, they want to providing safekeeping for others. In legal, they want to ensuring law certainty in digital footprint. And in responsible principle, they want to productive with respecting rights others. Okay. So this is my proposed framework. After I studying about the pre-service teacher with the digital citizenship issues, digital citizenship project, I propose the good digital citizenship plus cluster framework. Why? Why this framework is essential beside the 9 digital citizenship from Rebel, because uh, I criticize the limitations of the Rebel framework that less contribute to the democratic citizenship discourse. We know that citizenship education is not only to do the right and responsibilities, but also how we contribute to the society. So I propose new framework that incorporate the notion from Rebel, an element of digital citizenship, and Westermer and Kahneman, the kind of good citizenship, become a good digital citizenship cluster. We can say in my presentation that digital good digital citizenship plus consists from digital equity. So all of the internet user in Indonesia must be able with the access of infrastructure availability, digital ownership, and digital legacy. And also we must to get the input, the second input, we must to have digital literacy, how to managing abundantly information to literate life online. They must to be able to discover, evaluate, integrate, and reproduce all of the information they obtain from the internet. From the both of the input, digital equity and digital literacy is the model to uh, develop the digital civility. Digital civility means internet users who using technology in legal, ethic, and safe way. They abiding with the existing laws. They consider about the ethical and law implication, and they aware of digital risk and consequences. But if we end of the good digital citizenship just for digital literacy, it's not similar with the citizenship education goals because we must to comes or to uh, move the good digital citizenship not only with digital citizenship but also with digital engagement. With digital engagement. In digital engagements, all of the digital uh, citizens in Indonesia should have a sense of participation in global democratic society. They must joining or practicing in critical compassion with the injustice condition in our society. They must do justice advocacy and have the awareness and commitment with the political involvement. They not only just become personally responsible, but also become the justice oriented, the social justice oriented. Ah, based on Ripple, to become a full-fledged digital citizen, facing the challenge of addressing various problems related to dynamic in the online environment, including deal with some problem regarding unethical behaviors in technology use. So we jump to the main research objective of my study, the impact of project-based learning to improve, to develop the digital citizenship competence. After the student teacher joining in the project citizen, I can see that PBL is beneficial for developing 21st century skills. PBL have a benefit for student teachers, especially to provide attitude in digital space time, to maintaining their self-control, mutual respect, and politeness. And then PBLs is significant to improve behavior when student-teacher interacting or communicate online with the critical thinking skill to boast their about security awareness to protect their personal data. An influential experience, meaningful experience in PBL is a reason for student teachers to promote the digital citizenship for their future classroom. PBL as a means to enhance student capacity to be self-directed learners. Project-based activities improve their motivation to demonstrate competence in addressing technology concern. And PBL rise learners motivation high. PBL rise learners motivation high, further develop digital skill proficiency. So the last framework in my study, we can sum up that the legal sub and responsible as the main principle of digital citizenship when we practicing in project-based learning with guided research, teaching and learning activity, and then working in civil societies, some of the activities and project-based learning like the student teacher collecting resources to have an insight about the problem in digital world, discussion and decision making to create a product to project performing, the teaching innovation, the self-regulate learning, the get the real world issues like cyberbullying, cybercrime, addiction, and so on. They collaborate with the interest group the invited expert in online seminar or webinar to have speech about the issues in digital environment, and then they get public feedback from the post in Instagram, in Facebook, in Spotify, in YouTube. And after or through the project-based learning activities, the digital citizen competence among student teachers improve from digital uh, from digital equity, from digital literacy to close to the digital civility, to develop their digital civility, and then they have awareness to involve in contributing to their society to make the online society better and also in offline society. So, parties interest in this research, understanding of digital citizenship. Okay. In the end of this study, I can mention that digital citizenship in the student-teacher perspective is about moral guidance in online environment, with the main principle is safe, legal, and responsible. The kind of good digital citizenship is close to the personal digital responsible citizen with the ability to well inform and active duties participatory. And the impact of the digital citizenship competence, PBL is critical and challenging to improve digital citizen competence with the maintaining the student-teacher ICT skill proficiency with the 21st century skill and to become a self-directed and autonomy learners. After with my study, I propose the new framework, namely digital citizenship framework, because I found that PBL encouraged student teacher in practicing justice advocacy, critical compassion, and political participation. And PBL helps student teacher to be well informed, analyze critically, and develop sense of involvement in a global democratic society. Contribution and limitation. I mentioned three of the contribution of my study. First, the finding contribute to the larger conversation on how pre-service teacher embrace the principle of digital citizenship in their daily lives, develop a digital footprint, and build a digital legacy. This work has contributed to the policies on the teaching and learning of PBL and citizenship education, particularly to promote PBL strategy for fostering digital citizenship and 21st century learning. And the study promotes digital citizenship plus as a new paradigm to integrate technology literacy with morality and laws to establish a moral society and advocate for social justice. This study with without no limitation. The study was limited to the teacher education setting, to the small sample size, the method, qualitative and case study cannot cover the cross analysis of multiple cases partly. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this study meets some obstacles, particularly in executing the PBL syntax online. Suggestion for the future research, with the finding and discussion and conclusion from my study, the study provides possibilities to mix qualitative in future research and quantitative methodologies to pose more complicated research questions, gather more prosperous and in-depth data, and gain a broader range of perspective. Okay. Okay, we have come to the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for the attention. That's all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.